千里之行，始于足下。A journey of 1,000 miles begins beneath the feet. We now gather in the Tao to travel the journey together. Welcome to Tao Talks with Derek Lin, where we take a deep dive into the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu. As always, I want to extend my welcome to you. Thank you for joining us. I would like to invite you to center your thoughts and direct your attention to this moment in time, to the here and now, to be fully present and mindfully aware as we are ready ourselves for this sacred process in the Tao with one another. So let's talk about being selfless in a very practical sense. In the material world, we know that being selfless has a number of benefits. It is an increase of happiness and satisfaction. When you help other people, I am positive you have experienced this. You feel good about having provided the assistance. It is something that can decrease stress and anxiety. You are focusing on the needs of others, and therefore taking your mind off your own worries and anxieties. It's a sense of calm and emotional well-being. So in a real sense, when you help others, you also help yourself. Reinforce sense of purpose. We're all here for a reason. We're in this world to do something, to fulfill a purpose. When you don't have a sense of what that purpose is, life can feel rather empty. To be selfless in assisting others, to engage in selfless acts, it will provide you with that sense of purpose. It's inherent in helping others. So all of this go into the category of emotional well-being. But then it goes beyond just your own emotional well-being. It helps you. It's a positive thing in helping you make a personal connection with the person that you are helping. In the process of helping that person, the connection that you make can be something as simple as just a smile for the moment. It can be something that develops into a long-term friendship. You just never know. Overall, personal connections like that just means that the community as a whole becomes stronger. And therefore, it's not just personal connection with one individual, it's a stronger connection within the overall community. And because of that, when we talk about other people, this can be a ripple effect. This is the pay it forward part, where what you do has effects well beyond the initial action. Now that's just the material world part. Everything on the left-hand side is what can happen, what we can see and perceive and feel, what we can see in the material world. But then I want to take it into the spiritual realm where things are not so easy to see. Sometimes they can be felt. So in spirituality, there is such a thing as karmic obligations. This is a common belief in Buddhism that many things we do in this lifetime are sourced in previous lifetimes. That is to say, if someone helped you, you are compelled to reciprocate. You are driven by the karmic debt to satisfy that obligation in reciprocation. So conversely, if you had done something wrong to another individual, you will have the opportunity to pay off your karmic debt. Now, we of course have no idea what we did previously. Even someone who subscribes to this belief system can recognize that we have no knowledge, no idea, whether good or bad, what actions we took before. But if you think about it, it is right and proper that we cannot remember what happened previously. Imagine what would be the case if we do remember. If I know that I should be good to someone to pay off a karmic debt, then I am doing it for that reason. Not because it is the right thing to do, not because I am a better person than I was in the previous lifetime, but because I am counting the points. I'm keeping the score on the karmic scale of justice. That has a way of short-circuiting the process, so the good that you do doesn't actually count. It doesn't count because it isn't authentic, it isn't genuine, it's not real. So it is right and proper that we do not remember because we want all of our actions to flow naturally. So I personally believe in this so much that I do the right thing anyway, no matter what. I don't know if I am paying back a karmic debt, if I'm satisfying some kind of karmic obligation. I just try to do the best I can for everyone, thinking that, well, there is a possibility that there's a karmic affinity or karmic connection here, and it is in my best interest to be good. So if there was an obligation, it will then be satisfied. If there wasn't an obligation, then what I would be doing is to create positive karma. And I will be creating that because it is the right thing to do, not because I'm expecting it to come back to me multiplied many times. Now, of course, when we talk about this, I know I have this intellectual understanding that the good that I put out will come back to me at some point. But I don't have specific expectations. So I tend to just put it out of my mind. And when it does come back, I probably will not know which of my previous actions was the source or the trigger or the cause. I'm not going to be able to trace the path of that flow of energy. I don't know how it went out, how it circled around, how it came back. I don't even bother thinking about it. Next, when it comes to the spiritual aspects of life, to be selfless is something that we practice as a virtue. This furthers the personal practice in compassion. It is also a practice in humility because it is the realization that this selfless act is not about you. Serving the community requires you being humble and put thoughts of self-benefit, self-importance out of your mind. Therefore, to be selfless furthers the practice, the virtue of compassion and humility. Next, it connects you with the Tao. This is because when you are selfless, it brings you closer to the nurturing aspects of the Tao. The nearness to the Tao brings its own benefits, but we all want to be more similar to the Tao. Being selfless is one way to do it. Next, touch the oneness. To touch the oneness, what I mean by that is to be in touch with the oneness that unites all of us, that connects all of us. This is when I say at a fundamental level of reality, we are connected as one. I believe this to be the absolute truth. And when I am being selfless, when I provide assistance, when I'm doing a good deed, I can feel the goodness that I do for others flowing back to me through the channels, the connections, in that realm of oneness. And lastly, accumulate merits. So this idea is from Buddhism, where merit is a good that you do that was done without strings attached, that was unconditional, that you did not do the deed with expectations of a reward. Then it is real, it is authentic, it counts, and therefore it is called true merit. So in spirituality, being selfless has these positive connotations, positive effects and consequences. In both the material world and in spirituality, there are many reasons to be selfless. That is what I'm trying to say. Previously, we talked about heaven and earth. We talked about how they exist indefinitely. They exist for the myriad of things, not for themselves, and we want to emulate that example. We want to dial down selfish concerns. We want to live for something that is greater. And when we do so, we're definitely going to notice the difference that this makes in life. Summary for today is about the sages, about how they can be putting themselves in the back, they can be outside of themselves in terms of their concerns. So putting themselves in the back is what we call servant leadership, providing assistance and support to everyone. And the natural consequence of that is people will place you front and center. So I want to invite everybody to see yourself as the servant of the group, not the master. And I will further say, you're going to have a great time doing this, following this teaching, because life is all about building good relationships. Everybody you help, everybody you get to know is like a fascinating book waiting for you to read. You're going to have a great time. Number 2, take care of others. Practice compassion, caring for the welfare of the group. The group will take excellent care of you. This goes back to our diagram of karmic energy exchange. The caring you put out comes back to you at least threefold. It is also related to number 1 because the value that you place on the group comes back to you as the value that the group will place on you. It therefore makes perfect sense that they want to bring you out from the back and place you in the front. Number 3, practice altruism. Here, I want to say work to benefit the group rather than yourself. You end up with the greatest benefits of all. That is to say, you plant the seeds of altruistic actions. In time, you will enjoy the blooming flowers, bountiful harvest, ample rewards in life. And this is the best way to go because it is the way that nature works. The results are all but guaranteed because it is the Tao. These 3 points that you see here are related and interconnected. I invite you to think of them as 3 refracting surfaces of the wish fulfillment gem held by the Bodhisattva. They may shine in different ways, but they originate from the same light. Our meeting has come to an end, but the journey continues on. Until next time, may the Tao fill you with peace and happiness.